Trump discounts allegations against Republican Roy Moore and says, and now quoting the president, we don't need a liberal person in there. Julie, it's a change in public position, I think, without any question, is it not?
It really follows up on the groundwork that Kellyanne Conway laid. I don't know if that was earlier today or yesterday, very recently on Fox.
Yesterday, yes.
As you talked about. And it seems to be, and again, I'm very eager to see this video along with you. It seems to be following that same sort of train of logic. And I would add that echoes what some, people who are close to Trump have been saying on the outside. Other personalities on Fox News have kind of towed that line as well. And also Steve Bannon, who is now working outside of the White House, but very involved in politics and certainly involved in this Alabama race as well, has urged the same sort of line of thinking. So depending on what exactly the words of the president are, it really does represent sort of a new weighing in of Trump on a race that everyone in the country is watching. And we still have 3 weeks to go. It's hard to believe that we've, still got that much time left in such an important race.
There seemed to be a belief, Julie, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but that the White House would do its best to not, maybe Kellyanne Conway speaks, maybe Sarah Sanders says something, but to have the president not comment because there are some who are very much for and some who are very much against, and they might all be in the president's camp, and whoever he's for or against, he's gonna lose a bunch of the crowd down there in Alabama and maybe in other places around the country. There was a risk with women. There were a lot of risks involved. Apparently, if that was the strategy, it has now changed.
This race has just been an absolute nightmare for the White House for all of time, seemingly. If you think back, the White House was behind Luther Strange, the sitting senator who replaced Jeff Sessions, now the Attorney General. But there were some on Trump's team who were very upset about the decision to get behind Senator Strange and had been kind of urging him to reconsider that and to back Moore, who looked like he was going to prevail. And indeed he did. So, right from that special election, you've got this kind of tense point where some in the White House and some close to Trump feel one way and some feel another. And now sort of you've got an even deeper mess with Roy Moore, a person that the White House wasn't originally behind, but when he won, you remember back when the president deleted all of his tweets supporting Luther Strange, really seemed to try to wipe him out of his memory in an effort to portray himself as all in for Roy Moore, the force of the White House.
Excuse me for interrupting. They're going to play that tape for us now. The delay I cannot explain. I don't have the information. But here's the president. They've still got it in pause, as you can see. Listen. Oh, now they're rewinding it. This is pretty important stuff. Where the president stands on this particular matter is something that the people should know. And the viewers and people who are interested in this sort of thing should hear it from the president himself. It's my belief that you shouldn't have to hear this through a filter. And if the president wants to come up and speak to the pool camera that covers the White House, then you ought to be able to hear that. So exactly what it is that the president will say when they push the play button, you'll hear it. I want to show you what's happening live now. While we wait for them to push play, the live feed coming in, this is Marine One landing at Joint Base Andrews. Now, remember what the picture you saw just a moment ago, that was at the portico at the White House. So this was from just a few minutes ago. The president came out of the White House, came out of the residence, then walked over to the helicopter, and instead of making a beeline to the helicopter, which, happens a lot of times, instead of that, he came to the rope line. And Julie, there is no way for me to know. I think you'll probably be able to find out at some point. Some of our White House team will be able to find out as well, whether the plan was for the president to go and use this moment to address this issue because the White House decided this is the moment that we want to send out the president. This is the moment we want to put him on the record. This is part of our overall plan. Or if the president just decided, I'm going to go talk to them, and if they ask me questions, I'm going to answer them. But here he is. This is the tape playback we've been waiting for.